Hello, agents. We've got a great show today. We just did our Facebook Live for clients and public talking about knowing your numbers. As probably happens to you, we get people who come to us with kind of a mishmash of ideas of what the process is, what they ought to do first, what's important, and oftentimes they've done the wrong thing already, and we have to find a way to kind of put them back together and get them back on track.
Yes, so we talked to them about credit reports and them having an idea going in, or not even going in, but right away, what their credit report number is, because that's very important to see if they can even get a loan, what type of loans they might qualify for, and if there's any work that needs to be done. But again, this is our step 2 of the buyer's process, and our step 1 was about forming the team. So at this point, they already have a lender. We want to make sure, because it seems to me, and I don't know about you, Ruth, I will get these people who are like, yes, I want to buy a house. And I'm like, okay, reach out to the lender, and they aren't. And then their heads are all over the place because they're like, well, I don't know what I can afford. I can't do this. And I'm not sure if we're ready. And we're not going to move for a couple months. And they're very worried. And so we wanted to make sure that
They sometimes seem to think that the lender shows up at the closing table and
it just goes, here you go. And maybe that's kind of something that we should talk about, exactly. But we wanted to make sure that they understand that this person's working for them. Yes, your credit might get dinged a smidgen every time somebody pulls your credit, the lender pulls your credit. But we wanted to explain to them that, that's not necessarily the same as opening a new credit card or having, a dealership run your credit or whatever. Those are a little bit more riskier. Those are things that the credit bureaus don't like to see. But seeing a couple times over the course of a month or two of a lender pulling a credit report is not going to be long-term detriment to their financial health. So we focused on that, and we just wanted to make sure that they understand that we also let them know that we don't know their financial situation. The lender tells us how much they can afford. We don't know what their debt is. We don't know what their income is. We don't know all that. This is why they have this preferred lender who just helps them, guide them through that process.
And I think too, the more that we as agents can get together to talk about how this is the first part of the process, the better it's going to be for all of us, for our clients, for real estate in general. We don't, Danielle and I choose not to run our business like a Pop-Tart agent and run out and show houses to strangers. So we do have a consultation. We walk through what the process is. We let them know, educate them on why this needs to come first, and why we can't really go and look at that house that they can't buy. It's not that it doesn't ever happen, because sometimes people go through a process differently, but that's our favorite, best way to do it. And I think the more agents who really get on board with this is a process where somebody's going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, and maybe we got to take it seriously, the better it will be for all of us, but the better educated the public will be. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, not everything has to, I understand we are in a system here, or a time in society where everything needs to be immediate. So the idea of calling a certain person off of a certain website and being able to see the house within a half hour is appealing. Same as when, you just click a button on your phone and suddenly you're pre-approved. I understand why those, to a consumer, especially those who are busy or have a tight deadline, it would be appealing. But we really need to explain to them that if this is a huge investment, and it shouldn't take 10 seconds.
And it shouldn't. That's really what I think. That's really what the key is. And I think that we as professionals, the good agents, really need to get together and say, this is how we're going to frame this. Because let's be honest, people think we're not that important. We're not skilled. We're not professional. We're the person who has an app on our phone that opens a lockbox and can get them to the house that they want to see. And if we can't do it, then someone else can. And I assume that any agent who's listening to us is better than that. So let's remember that. Nobody would expect their financial advisor to answer their questions at 9 o'clock at night or get back to them with a quick answer on where should I put my money. And we shouldn't either. We should be cognizant of the fact that this is the biggest purchase and the biggest process that everybody goes through in their whole life, and that we, as the stewards of this process, are a really important part of it. And we need to respect ourselves and educate our clients and help them really understand what they're going through. And if they don't want to, then let them work with a lesser agent who will do that thing that they want them to do. But the same thing is true of the pre-approvals. If they want to press a button, as Danielle says, and get a fake pre-approval that may not get them to the closing table, we don't really want to put all of our time, effort, and energy into working with that person. So it can actually be a great way to filter and a great way to learn how to run your business in a way that feels really comfortable.
Absolutely.
Oh, and keep them away from Credit Karma because they're just as bad as the big Z.
Well, yeah, annualcreditreport.com is a good resource. And then, or just, help them understand that going to their lender and the lender getting the numbers for them and being able to help them. Because again, somebody can take their numbers and see that they're a 630 and want to be a 650 and, start doing things, taking their $10,000 out of their savings account and paying, things off when that's not necessarily going to help, move it very much, or if it was maybe even worse for them. So the lender will have those key pieces of information for them.
And that's key too. That has to be your trusted lender, because lenders can be a dime a dozen, just like many realtors can. And so if these people come to you with their own lender, or are attracted by a shiny rocket ship and don't really know what it means and what the weight of it is, that's not going to bode well for your transaction or your career or your reputation when you suddenly have to, the clear to close is due, tell the other agent that your clients actually don't qualify and never did. So we want to make sure that education is just a part of everything that we do, and that we have a great team. So even if you're a brand new agent, you're going to be talking to lenders. They're going to be calling you. They're going to be buying you coffee. Don't pay attention to what they're offering to, leads that they're going to buy for you or things like that. I mean, in my opinion, that's not what we want from lenders. We want them to do a really good job, represent our clients really well, educate our clients really well, and get them to the closing table. So find lenders that you can trust to do that, and you're going to be halfway to home.
Absolutely. All right. See you next week when we continue with knowing your numbers, but step 3.